Used to end this.
Max you're just gonna cut to a bunch of just random shit.
Yeah, me and I'm all...
Of course.
Speeding.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Speeding. Alright.
And this time he's
Ready?
got magic, so we don't need to clap.
Come here, bro.
Oh, you got magic?
You got magic.
You don't even need to clap?
No clappage?
I
That's unfortunate.
brought some fucking magic.
Alright, sweet.
We can do that.
We all good?
Yeah.
I also have my magic cards. We can do that.
Epic.
Okay. Well, then we start.
Great. What's our
Do you
intro?
want intro music? Throw back the all intro music.
We can do that. It's all plugged in.
take some time.
Okay, I love how I'm not too musically talented, so
How much?
No, this is how
Bro,
I used to be.
this
I used to play
Yeah,
Little
this
Diddy.
this is what it will be.
you have your own
It's gonna
angle.
sound terrible.
You have your own angle now.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
jazz.
Actually, I'm gonna check. Wait.
What do you want to hear?
Move this just a little bit.
Guy, excellent.
Okay.
Cool.
Welcome to the podcast, ladies
Mini
and
cast.
gentlemen. We're here to talk about the Mandalorian season 2. Trailer just came out. It's pretty epic. It's a little short, but you know, more of a teaser. I do feel teased.
Yeah.
That is the
Everyone,
point.
please welcome Davis Lowe,
Yeah.
a surprise
Hey.
guest.
How's it going?
Welcome, Davis.
What's up?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how old you are.
I am Davis Lowe. I am from. Actually, I'm from the South. I was born in the South.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
So, what are your political beliefs?
Yeah. That's actually what this podcast is. We baited you when you talked about the Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, more progressive than normal, so.
All right, Ben Shapiro, come on up.
He opens
Is this podcast
Is this
kosher?
podcast kosher?
Is this podcast?
Are we a kosher podcast?
He opens it, just fucking shoots me. God.
He would.
Shoot
Anyways,
you dollars.
from the South. Interesting.
Like Jackson, Mississippi.
That's pretty South.
That's where I
Yeah.
was born. But like my whole
South
family's from the South. I've lived here all my life though, so I'm
there you go.
I'm Colorado. I'm Colorado.
So what do you do?
Oh,
This is where you plug. This
Oh.
is where you plug your own
Shit.
thing.
hi.
hi.
I
Oh hi. You liked it.
can we get it? Can we get a zoom in on that ass?
Damn.
That's on you. Anyways,
So I mean, I have a YouTube channel
Plug it.
Plug.
called Boiled Beans.
creative.
Thank you.
Yep.
So rude. That was so rude. Just
He landed on beans at first, and then he just looked up a
Beans
random
boiled.
adjective generator.
beans.
Boiled the beans.
do you
Actually,
usually?
I don't.
I guess
know.
it's baked beans. Isn't that the usual?
You can
Yeah.
boil beans.
You can boil beans. I
Yeah,
guess.
but
I
baked
was
beans
I
is
was
like
actually
the classic.
I loved like as when I was in like middle school I was always like hey, beans are funny like you know so then
Dude,
Beans.
the
Wow.
beans being the magical fruit.
Beans are the magic fruit. Make
Yeah.
you two.
The more you eat, the more you do.
More you
Exactly.
eat, too.
yeah
So
The more you two, the better.
The more you, the smoother your cooch.
that is.
I didn't listen to that.
And those are just facts.
Facts. Anyways. So,
Yeah,
the
boiled
Southern
beans.
boy turned Coloradoan YouTube extraordinaire.
Kind
Boiled
of,
beans.
yeah
Subscribe.
and then yeah
Progressive.
and then I do a
Progress.
bunch of like other work but that's just like you know for fun and money but
Fun and
mostly
money.
Wow,
Mostly
that's
money.
better than we're doing.
yeah so
We might monetize soon.
No.
I don't know how, but
We will.
you have to hit 50 hours and then
We can do that.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
Yeah.
Right now.
Right now.
50-hour
Leave
podcast.
it rolling. 50-hour
we're like all
podcast.
sleeping on each
Yeah.
other. You're like doing homework with your ass up, like.
Why would I have my ass up doing homework? Why that specifically?
Did you ever watch that episode of iCarly where they had to break the world record for the longest stream,
Yeah.
and then the power went out and they were all
Yeah.
sad?
But then
Yeah.
Spencer breaks the world record, not for the longest stream, but for something else.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a sculpture thing. The
Yeah,
most things
yeah,
on a
yeah,
sculpture
yeah.
or whatever. It was a good episode.
That is a good one.
Great. So let's
No,
get
it's a
into
better episode. The finale of The Mandalorian.
Oh, nice segue.
yeah,
Whoa.
You weren't having it. You thought I was not segueing, but I was.
Dude, you just
pulled the
fucked
old
over
rope-a-dope
his
on you.
transition.
Yeah, it's all right.
That camera just
It'll do.
quit.
Are
It
you
stopped.
okay?
It just.
Are you okay?
I think I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna recover.
Alright.
So let's just
Sorry.
go for
We're all,
first
like,
impressions.
really uncomfortable.
Down the couch, Max. You start first impressions. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. It was epic, short. I like that we know like what direction the series as a whole is going in, and I think I have a good idea of some of the planets and characters and shit that are in it, which is fucking epic. Davis, go!
I thought it was magnificent. It was a great piece of just like cinematography on the first place. Like just some of the shots were incredible. Like just the beginning, like the whole trailer feels like a beginning, and that's what a teaser's supposed to do. So I really enjoyed that.
I am happy they didn't show any really important characters like Boba or Ahsoka or anyone like that. And I was
Sabine?
really, really tripped the fuck out when there was a boat. Like, was that just me?
You tripped out
When there was a boat. Like, I was just not ready to
like
see
a
a boat in Star Wars.
Wars.
It was the weirdest thing.
That's
It was just the weirdest thing. I was like, there's a
Interesting.
fucking boat in Star Wars.
That should be a song. Space boat. Okay.
I thought it was great. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
There is truly nothing like waking up to a Star Wars trailer,
Yeah.
watching
It
it,
is
and
kinda crazy.
that moment when he pulls out the whistling birds. And
Yeah,
I laughed
That
so
was good.
hard.
I did. Like, I
That
laughed
was-
out loud at that
oh,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was definitely one of the biggest things that I got from it. Second thing was, I'm so glad that they used the same Mongolian throat singing that
Yes.
they used in
Yeah,
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
That's
so
the first
sick.
thing I noticed.
I'm like, I was
man.
like, oh my
Yeah.
god, they
Oh, man.
did
I
that.
hope that they work that into the
That
score. 'cause
song-
That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
sick as fuck.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sick because that's like an actual band.
Yeah, that's
that
the,
they got.
It's just a song.
And I love it because they use it in the game as if like it's like a group in
Yeah.
Star Wars, you know,
Yeah.
like a group playing their music.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool, and so I'm so glad it shows a lot that Ludwig Göransson was all. I saw this because
Right.
he just didn't
Yeah.
think of that. He definitely
Of course.
listened to that
For sure.
and went, "This is
It's
this
an
feels
intentional
right."
connection.
You know?
Yeah,
so
and that-
it's
yeah.
gonna be sweet.
The interconnectivity just feels like,
Yeah.
and I think that that's like a big thing that we're gonna see going into season 2 is just that we're gonna have a lot more characters and a lot more shit in there. He's searching down the Jedi now, so it's like we're
Yeah.
gonna have an actual connection to these things. So yeah, I think that we could literally see some connections to Jedi Fallen Order, and that could be partially what that's alluding to.
Wait.
But,
I don't
you
know.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
it's like it's like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like Dave Filoni's like wet dream. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
Because like
It's
like
my
he's-
wet dream.
Man, that's some good sexual encounters with Dave. Basically,
Dave, if you want to come on the podcast.
My boy had Dave.
Oh man, can you imagine if we had Dave Filoni on
In this
the fucking
fucking
Guy Excellent
basement?
podcast?
In this
Oh
basement.
man.
One day.
One day.
We'll get there.
One
Yeah.
day.
Anyways,
No, so yeah, basically like he's bringing a bunch of characters from like all these things he's been a part of, and I really enjoy it because I don't know, most like a lot of shows with you in the series and like those characters are gone, but like since it's the Star Wars universe, like
Right.
and he gets like kind of that control with like the previous stuff he's worked on, and of course everyone that worked on those series, like I'm just gonna enjoy like just the mashup of characters, like you know that feeling in your like stomach when you're like, I know them.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
them. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's clinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
all
See a little dark saber.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to see Sabine?
I mean, here's the thing. Jumping to that, that lady that is standing in the shadows.
Uh-huh.
She's played by another WWE lady. I forget her name. A lot of people thought it was Rosario Dawson, but it's not.
It's not.
I did.
But
Yeah,
I found the lady that is a part of it, and it's confirmed because she posted about it and whatnot. And a lot of people are theorizing that she is playing Sabine Wren and that she's going to be that connection, and that makes a lot of sense to me. She looks the part, and thematically that would be a good way to connect to Ahsoka, right, and all that sort of stuff.
So
It would just be crazy because, like, people would definitely be like, who? Like, the majority of people, especially because Rebels is, like, so disconnected from, like,
Definitely.
Mandalorian. Like,
even
there's a big
the
old chunk in
Clone
between.
Wars is just from the perspective that it's a
For sure. And the thing is, like,
watching.
Ahsoka really works because she is kind of like a drifter between everything.
Definitely.
Like, she,
We've
can
never seen her in
mix
live
her
action,
way.
which is
Yeah,
interesting.
which is great. But I
It's
think
a big jump.
she is able to find her way into different things, and she feels right. You're
Definitely.
like, oh,
Definitely.
she fits
I think,
in this.
honestly, just inherently, the sort of plot line to her becoming a gray Jedi, right? And like sort of the idea that she is caught between both ends of it means that she's never the protagonist, but she's never not the protagonist. She's always playing a very vital role in the shows, and I think that's great. And I think that another thing, I watched a little bit of Star Wars Theory and his reaction to it. Shout out. Star Wars Theory, if you want to come on the podcast, I'm just gonna start shouting everyone out that we talk to, just in case.
Oh yeah.
But he was talking about how he thinks that the sort of the snow planet they're on is Ilum, and the idea that would be he's trying to find the Jedi, and if there's anything they might know about them, it's that they all go to Ilum to get their kyber crystal. And I especially like the way that they sort of set up that they don't really know who the Jedi are, right? They call them a sorcerer race, right? And so it's interesting, and I hope they take kind of a detective sort of ideal to it, to where he's searching this down, and we get allusions to characters before we finally get the big reveal of who they are that he's tracking down.
For sure. The Empire's on Ilm at that point, though, right?
This is
because they're on in Fallen Order.
But do they know
at
where?
At some point, they do show up.
Yeah,
and they're
to make it
hanging out
Starkiller
there.
Base.
They're hanging out there,
Right.
But
also,
we
when
don't know.
They transition to First Order.
We don't know
and what
what
happens.
And the question is, like,
Yeah.
maybe he is there, and maybe the new ex-Empire transitioning into the First Order is there.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Right.
maybe they are hanging out. But this is my thing. I think that's cool, but I think at that point, Ilum is like Ilum is really at its prime in the Clone Wars. Like when it's like, this is the place where the Jedi go to find the kyber crystals. But now it's become a thing of like, why would Ahsoka be there?
Well, I don't think it's that she would be there. I think it's that they don't have anything else. He doesn't know where to go, so that's an option.
That's just
for him.
one place they think. Yeah, I think
it's
that's fair.
It's like, and that's why I say like he'd go there and then he'd discover some relics or some shit, or he'd run into the fucking some First Order fuckers, right? And then that would just lead to more conflict, right? Because the fact that they call them a sorcerer's race, I can totally see the next sentence that lady says is like, all we know about them is they did some shit on this planet Ilum. Go there, you might find something. And who knows what we would find.
I think for the record, that audio is from the first season when she's talking to him.
Oh.
Yeah,
she goes, it's straight out, and it's
that's
just
right before they get on the
It's just
boat,
him going,
like in the lava river.
her going, go find these people,
Find the Jedi.
and
I completely forgot.
and this is
That's
the way.
interesting.
Yeah, no,
that's pretty much.
that's
And I think it is amazing because she does leave it
And we
in
can
a
agree
way
that's
of like,
Bo-Katan, right? Like, or no?
we don't know. This is my thing. It could be, but I think if they were going to
that's
have Bo-Katan be there, it would be like, this is Bo-Katan. And the other question is like,
I don't know.
like why she'd be wearing like her armor, you know?
I am on the side of I don't.
It would be
think
cool.
that she is Bo-Katan, but
She's just called the armor in the show.
And
I
I like
which
that.
is something.
I think she's sick as fuck no matter what.
Yeah, and I also think if we never saw her again, I'd be
Well,
okay
I
with
was
that.
looking at the cast. I was looking at this cast list, and it said someone was playing Boat here. I have the.
I think it might be somebody else.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
and I think
it
it was
said,
revealed.
What?
I mean,
Oh
they
yeah.
revealed a bunch of
Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, I remember that.
As Bo-Katan.
But
Cries.
I don't know when she shows up.
Right.
Like,
So we just don't know if she's there yet. If we've seen her.
because I'm still
Mandalorians keep
confused
their
on
helmets
which like cast list is like this is the actual cast list because
Right.
there's so
And what
many
is-
that are like
yeah.
maybe and maybe and maybe, but yes, but maybe.
Yeah,
And, but
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, at
but
this
then
point,
yes.
because we've just gotten so many,
Oh, yeah.
so many, and so many of them have been like, "This is it. This is
But
these people."
I
are
thought
on
I
here." It's like,
remember-
Do you think that's
whoa,
a strategy on the side of like the actual?
Lucasfilm?
Yeah.
being of what? Just letting people talk about those things,
Or just being like, oh, here's a cast list, maybe. Like, throw that out. Here's a cast list,
maybe.
maybe.
I think
If it
it's
is,
more
that's-
the fans.
it's
I
just-
think
yeah,
it's more
Star
the
Wars
fans.
It's just-
because they can't help
It's
themselves.
just us brain dead people. Like,
Oh, for sure. It's the first time in a while we've gotten something fucking awesome Star
yeah,
Wars
dude.
content
Talk about.
in tandem with season 7 content, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
on the mind, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a thing of we all want those people to be in.
Mhm.
Maybe not, but there are people who are like, I want this, I want this, I want this. Especially, I think Boba Fett and Ahsoka and Rex are like the biggest ones.
I
Like,
want Rex, dude. Let's
Rex
talk
would
about
be
Rex.
cool,
Holy
but-
shit.
Super cool.
Rex would be like
Old.
old,
But still.
like so old.
But
Super
still.
old.
Who
Well, I
cares?
mean-
Fucked up old.
He's
Yeah,
the same
like-
character.
I mean,
He'd be like 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but he's
99 is old.
he's fighting in episode 6.
Yeah, but that's the thing is he's old, bro.
Yeah, but he's still like able. Like he's still like
But he's old.
he's still.
This is my thing. If we saw Rex and he was all like, "What are we doing?" You know, I'd be like, "Why is he
Yeah.
there?"
Yeah.
But if they used him like as kind of like
Correctly.
a moment of like, "Oh, it's Rex," and not like Captain
Yeah.
Rex,
Yeah.
clone armor, just
Definitely agree.
or if he
Yeah.
just showed up
Yeah.
like there with
I feel like
Ahsoka
he's a
and they
good-
didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I don't know. I think Rex is also like Rex is a strategist and like he is good at what he did in the Clone Wars. He can, and you start to see like the Empire took over, right? But now you have the Rebellion coming, and you have these new characters. Like you see the X-wings in the trailer. Because,
Which
of
is
course,
interesting.
Rebellion is there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think he's like a good, like wise person that could possibly like bring something new and like maybe something cool to the Mandalorian
Right.
series.
Sure.
I am still of the opinion with all of these characters though that I want to see not very much of them.
Yeah.
I would like because I think it would make sense for it to be still mostly Mandalorian and mostly the Rocky black dude and I forget his name.
I know. Stop. I got it. No, just keep talking. I'll think of it.
Okay.
Don't look
Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers and the other fighter lady, whatever her name is. Not
Hold on. Wait, yeah, tell me.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
And like I would like
Yeah,
to
she's
stick
cool.
with what we've got and then kind of just towards the end get the like, oh, now we meet these characters and it's cryptic and it's interesting and cool, but I don't want them to be something that shows up in our main line because I think that would be really hard to accomplish.
I think it'd be cool if it was like you remember the episode with Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it'd be cool if they come in as like that special episode where he works with these people, but like
Yeah.
only for that episode.
Yeah.
Oh, for
my
sure.
thing is like the story is about
The Mandalorian.
him
Yeah,
and
the
Baby
Yoda.
Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
You
But
know, it's
it
hard to
really
be like,
is-
here's Ahsoka,
And I think
here's
they
Rex.
presented it like this though.
Here's your dad.
Of like,
Yeah.
Here's your mom.
it's the show is the first season is kind of like a setup, and
Yeah.
the second season is for sure about him returning this child to where it
A
belongs.
third season is confirmed though.
Yeah, and my thing is, if you at that point, it's like if he actually succeeds or not, which I think in like the plot line of a 3-part story, it's like maybe he doesn't actually, or
Right.
maybe something happens. But
they could
if
be
he
taking
does,
time to transition into an entirely new problem with this season.
exactly, and I think the thing that works with Ahsoka is like Ahsoka is a prominent Force user in this world / galaxy we're in.
Yeah.
Like Luke Skywalker is probably the most prominent and the truly the only remaining Jedi, but that we know. But Ahsoka is like she is someone that I could see coming into the show and taking this child and making it something, like using it. Because like Luke would be like, you're mine. So this is how this works.
I don't think we can see Luke anyways.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. And so I just think that's where Ahsoka fits in. She's a Force user, and she's very powerful, and she's very wise. And if she's gonna show up, she's gonna be in that position. She's not gonna show up him being like, hey, I'm looking for where this little baby Force user is from.
He's gonna find her.
Like, if she's there and also the child is there, she's gonna say something about it.
For sure,
she's gonna do something about it.
Yeah, definitely. But I still, nonetheless, think that they have to be smart about introducing her because it does still, of course, need to remain. You know, a
the thing is,
Mandalorian
if
story.
they introduce her, how are they gonna introduce her without her being like, well, I'm gonna take this? Because I think
the
my
obvious
feeling
thing
is
is
Ahsoka is gonna do something about it.
For sure, but also the Mandalorian, all we've been seeing is that he's growing a connection to this child, right? And his plot line, I think that the sort of ultimate conclusion to his character arc, as we've seen set up,
Why is this lamp right here?
Oh, so for some lighting on the face.
But like, you can't even see my body.
No, your camera's there.
Oh, this is my sole angle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna hide behind
There's
this
no
thing.
angles of you talking with us.
We literally.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah.
That's epic.
It's just whenever you're talking, it's just gonna be you.
Yeah. We suck.
Anyways, Max.
I completely forgot what I was saying.
Okay, this is a good place. We're gonna call Aiden. We're gonna get his thoughts.
I forgot he.
Let's see if he answers.
Here's the real question: who did Yoda fuck?
That's a great question.
Yaddle.
Yaddle.
They got it on, dog.
Yo.
Hello.
Hi, Aiden.
Hi.
How are you?
It's gonna sound terrible.
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Tell us what you think about The Mandalorian.
I really enjoyed it. I think I feel like some people when I watched their opinions on it, they were underwhelmed by it, and they were all but I really wasn't. I really enjoyed it, and I liked I don't know. I felt like it was just what I needed, and a lot of people were oh, why wouldn't they show Ahsoka in that, and everything, and I'm like, yeah, it would have been cool to see her, but I kind of want to that's such a big reveal, this character that's existed for so long to be live action. That's gonna be such a huge thing that I kind of want to just wait for the show. I kind of hope they don't show anything until it. Maybe
Yeah,
I might just be the only one
I
with
think
that.
we're all on. Actually, I think we're all on board with that.
Yeah.
Save that moment for sure.
Definitely.
For the series where you can actually introduce her as a character and as a plot point in the story, and don't just put it in the trailer to put it in the trailer.
Right, and it's like when you do a big character reveal like that in a trailer, it's in a trailer, if you don't nail it, it's gonna be bad, And it's if you don't nail it in the trailer, then people aren't on board with it.
You'll
I
lose
think
people.
the best comparison to that is and it was in the same year was when Civil War came out and when Batman v Superman came out. Both of those had big reveals of the trailer where it was in Civil War they had that Spider-Man moment where he swings in, and I think as far as a character reveal in a trailer, that's as perfect.
Oh, and it would
That's
be
just perfect.
so much better
No?
if we didn't see Spider-Man.
Well, this is my thing. It works. I think it works for Spider-Man because he's
Everyone knows Spider-Man.
yeah, he's one of the most popular
that we wanted to
superheroes
see.
of all
Yeah.
time.
But Ahsoka's
in the perfect spot.
Some people really have no fucking clue.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
So, for
especially
the
in
fans-
live action for the first time ever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
something you put in a trailer. And
Well,
Dave Filoni
and I'm
knows
saying
that
what
for
I'm
sure.
saying is the Spider-Man one was done perfectly, and then if you compare that to Batman v Superman with Doomsday, that was just done horribly, where it's the audience reacted so bad to it and they were turned off by the movie automatically just from that. And I really think if you're gonna do a character reveal, one, I would honestly just prefer something like you said, Ahsoka, where it's and really it's only people who have watched Clone Wars or watched Rebels who really understand it, and really the people who have watched both who kind of know the extent of this character.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a for me that's such a huge thing and it really only dawned on me today where I was oh shit, she's gonna show up and be this actual exist in this world that's not just like limited by like animation, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited.
No, I get that. I think the thing about Ahsoka, I was talking about this earlier, is like her ability to kind of like meander through the entire series, and she's kind of, because she's there since the Clone Wars, she's just doing things, you know, and we don't see her. And so when she pops up, it's like, it will be interesting because like she goes from, you see her in the Clone Wars and you see her grow up so much, and so to see her at this point after episode 6, to see her really grown up and really wise, it's like that's hard to do on its own. But to also keep it Ahsoka, if they do it right, it'll be something where people will watch it and go, dang, she was cool. Who is this lady?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, guess what? This is her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll watch the Clone Wars and go, oh my god,
Darn.
this girl,
Two
she's a
different
child.
shades of green?
Yeah, bro.
Gosh darn.
Yellow or green? It's pretty.
That's a
epic.
great point. Yeah, I mean, that is something you kind of forget a lot. Is like, my dad likes The Mandalorian, and he knows, and like my sister likes The Mandalorian. They know nothing about Star Wars,
Yeah.
you know.
I think
So-
that
They know nothing.
it says a lot.
They know nothing.
I think it's like the biggest thing is like the Baby Yoda culture of people is like
Yeah.
those
Right.
are those people. Of
Yeah,
like
that's-
and you can see like there are so many people who are like, oh my god, Baby Yoda's awesome,
Yeah.
and probably have
And
to
they don't
see
know
the
anything
series.
else
See
about
the
Star
show,
Wars.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so the people who do watch it, who think it's cool, which it says a lot that it can stand alone as a series without actually like being solely Star Wars. Like a lot of Star Wars is very like, you gotta, if you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the prequels and you have never seen Star Wars, it's gonna be abrasive. Like you're gonna go like, what?
Yeah.
What? But if you like it and you love it and you grew up with it, you're
Then
gonna
it won't
love
be
it.
so coarse and rough, and it won't
yeah,
get everywhere.
It won't get everywhere.
Yeah.
But it will get everywhere.
Things are gonna get everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something going everywhere.
Anyways, but I think the cool thing about The Mandalorian is it has almost like the original, not at this level, but almost like the original Star Wars has transcended like its own world of like science fiction.
Right.
And is transcended into a more popular pop culture phenomenon. Like,
For sure.
I think it's been a while. Like, I think the new Star Wars, like the movies, the new Disney movies have been a thing of people have come and watched, but I don't think anybody, like, I think not all the fans were on board, and I don't even think all the public is on board either.
Yeah.
They're all kind of like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
I mean,
like, oh my
I think
god.
even if you
know?
like it, it's not defining a generation.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
And I think the cool thing about The Mandalorian is, like, it seems like everyone you talk to is like, yeah, that was awesome.
I like
Yeah.
the baby
Yeah.
in the show.
Well, I mean,
Exactly, and
I'd like
everyone
to-
can
yeah,
love it. You
Look
know?
at the what is the TV equivalent of the Oscars?
The Emmys?
The Emmys. Yeah, look at the
Emmys?
Emmys. And it's like
Yeah.
The Mandalorian had such a sweep of like
It really did.
so many.
They were
Emmys.
nominated for so many things.
That's,
That
which is
hasn't
beautiful.
happened yet, has it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
When did the Emmys happen? Have the Emmys happened, Aiden?
We know Star Wars,
I
but
don't
we
know.
don't know pop culture.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, we don't know. All we know is Star Wars.
You really don't.
I
That's
can
our
play with
job.
outdated magic cards, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't even.
Magic.
That's how distant I am.
September 20th.
Bro, my
Jeez.
freaking pants. Sorry.
Stop. Aiden, you can't see, but Davis is touching himself.
Yeah. So
You will see.
Huh, gross.
You will see.
Yeah.
You
I
like
know
it.
You're gonna hear us. You're gonna watch us, and then you're gonna hear us, and you'll be like, "Oh, he's not touching himself."
Oh, my phone's gonna die. All right, Aiden.
Say your important thoughts.
Say
right
your
now.
Yeah.
final thoughts.
I liked it. I'm excited. I do have one quick question though, really fast.
Go.
You know the lady, she in the cloak.
Yep.
Who, do we have any idea who
We
she
theorized, based on what I saw on Star Wars Theory and stuff, she is played by some WWE lady.
is?
I don't think she's-
WWE. Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
and she, we theorized that it's, what did I say her name was?
Sabine.
Sabine Wren.
Yeah, it
Sabine.
could be.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's my guess.
Yeah, and we were talking about that too of like, Sabine. We were kind of talking about how that is like a separate, like Ahsoka is like, she is pretty popular in the fan base for sure, but at least people do know about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And
Sabine's kind of
Sabine would be something for just Dave Filoni to be like.
Dave Filoni's just like,
because I never watched Rebels, so you know.
Yeah. You
like
haven't?
people will watch Clone Wars. Like I think like a lot of like older people will watch Clone Wars and they'll love it, but like really you get into like the fans who really just want every little detail who watch Rebels because it is kind of painful watching it. Like there's still enjoyment in it. But some of the characters
that is very true.
It's true, yeah, and I
sucked,
think,
dude.
and like I
was
definitely
watching it. My sister was like, "You are a child," and I was like, "Shut up!" I have
it
to
is
do
hard to
this.
get through, and I think the best part about Rebels is like, I'll catch myself going
Sorry,
like,
Dave Filoni.
you know what? Because Rebels for sure. Is this a battery? Is this important?
Yes, that is very important.
Great. So
that is very important.
That is
whatever.
Where's the camera lens?
I don't know.
I don't know. I threw it too.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Rebels. I'll find myself going. I need to watch this because Rebels is the thing that I have seen the least of.
Yeah.
Rebels, I watched and I was like,
What
all
the
right,
hell?
that's done.
Yeah.
You know, but
Finally, dude, at the
I'm
end,
watching
I was
it. Like I watch it. Like I try to watch an episode every once in a while and just try to get into it.
Yeah.
And I watched like 2 this morning, and it was a thing of like there are some episodes that are like I cannot do this right now.
Yeah.
But
Rebels
it's
feels like the
crazy.
same thing over and
It's
over
crazy
again.
because also there
Yeah.
are other episodes where you're like, this is so cool. Like I just watched the episode.
This is
It's
so cool.
season 3
So cool.
where
You should name
where
those
Maul-
episodes so that Max can watch them.
we'll
Great.
give you
Yeah,
give you a
give me-
list.
give me a
It's
little
when
list.
Maul and Ezra put the holocrons together for the
Oh,
first time.
yeah, that shit's crazy.
It is
Oh.
so sick.
That one's
And
just,
you're just like,
Yeah.
and Kanan takes his blindfold off and he can see them because it's so bright, and he's all,
Yeah.
I can see them, and
Bro.
you're like, what? And so that's
episode,
epic.
Those episodes are like
Yeah, and
yeah,
he
those are true
goes
voice
and
acting
he goes off to
sound
find
like-
Obi-Wan, and Ezra's all like,
Yeah.
well, that was cool. And I'm like, okay, great.
There are, like,
I'm a Sith Lord.
episodes
Yeah,
that are, like,
exactly.
yeah. My
diamonds
thing
in
with
the rough. Like the whole Obi-Wan episode was fire. The one you just talked
That
about, the
was
whole
so
Ahsoka
good. I
Vader
almost started
meeting up,
tearing
and
up
like
after
because
Obi-Wan
I
popped
went before Clone Wars season 7 came out. I went back and I rewatched all of Clone Wars, and then I also watched Rebels,
Yeah.
and I watched, and that it was just a lot.
Yeah,
and my
yeah,
thing
it's
is
like, dear
just
God.
some of the newer characters were kind of the problem, but there are like some moments I really enjoy in it
For
with
sure.
like anytime Maul or Ahsoka
Like the
show
world
up,
between
it's
world
great,
episodes.
but-
Yeah,
but
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
That's game changing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
anyways, okay, give us actual final thoughts on Mandalorian teaser.
I'm excited and I'm happy. I'm happy with what we got. It got me excited to see what will come, and I don't have anything else to say.
Great. We love you.
bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Everyone say bye to Aiden.
Love you.
Oh,
Do your
hey,
homework.
Aiden, by the way, hi.
Oh, hi, David.
I remember what I was going to say.
Great.
So going back to the point of Ahsoka playing a big role in the show and how she would have to assume a more controlling sort of over the plot. Of course she would. I don't think that isn't true, but I think that it's important to not let any of these characters take the protagonist role entirely.
Most
Right? We
definitely.
need to stay, and I think that the way that that it's going to stay true is by giving us more of the character arc of Mandalorian, growing attached to Baby Yoda, and moreover, the overall character arc of Mandalorian. I think the big thing with him is learning that he does kind of want to settle down, right? And we see that struggle that he wants to he wants to do honor by his people and by the Mandalorians, but he does want to take care of this child, and he wants to, and so furthering that plot line and making sure that we can, I think that's how we stay connected to Baby Yoda and how we can keep him connected as a protagonist. If they don't give enough credence to that, then I think very easily he could become overshadowed by other characters.
And now that you're talking about that, I can totally see the series going in a direction where he spends this whole time after he finds this child, he starts to spend his every moment of his life protecting this thing, right?
Yeah.
And so I can see the series going on, at least this season, going on of him going on these adventures and saving this child, and they grow this bond, and then finally when it comes to the moment where he's like, all right, let it go.
I can see
he's
like
it's
powerful.
gonna be a moment because he will be like
sure.
his whole life, like he is a Mandalorian and that's his creed, and he will go on and be a bounty hunter again or do his thing, but there is something about him being completely devoted to this child that is going to change him. It's going to be amazing.
I wonder, is there going to be like a push and tug between him and like the creed? Like
that's a good question.
Through this, is that going to be another like problem?
I don't know because this is
it seemed like a problem at the beginning.
It seemed like a problem at the
bit,
beginning, but when he's talking to the armorer, she straight up is like, This is your new thing. And I think that's what she means when he's talking about like, what do I do? And she's like, you must return this back to it's where it belongs. Kid. And when she says like, this is the way, he takes that as like, this is my new way. And she says you are a clan of two, which I think is really powerful.
That's
like they are straight up, this is their clan. It's the child and the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Also,
and that's who they are.
Another thing.
Well, I respect that.
How do you guys feel about possible Boba Fett appearance as well?
At this point, if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I feel like I said, I was looking at it. They said Boba Fett would be played by
Tamara Morrison.
Yeah, Tamara Morrison.
My thing is like at the end of episode 5 of season 1, when that random person just kills the assassin lady. And then just is like
she
walking.
Dead. She
fresh. The dude,
just walking.
When he just walks.
Shot at some boots.
Yeah,
dead body.
If that's just someone that we haven't met yet, that's gonna be such a letdown.
Well, it could be either Moff Gideon, or
okay.
Yeah,
that's what everyone said. I remember everyone, even Star Wars theory, I think was like, it's just Moff Gideon. Maybe it was.
Then why wouldn't my thing is then why wouldn't they just show his full body? If it's just
they wanted the reveal to be at the end.
Dude,
I guess
if it's just good old Moff, like.
And the biggest thing is like everyone's like he doesn't have spurs. Like he doesn't have spurs.
Yeah, and that's really honestly the only reason that people theorized it. And now we have this Tamara Morrison gonna be playing this, and it's like, and I think I'm on the side of it where it's like, if it's good, I don't give a shit who's in it. I'm going to enjoy it, right? But yeah, I think it would make sense for Boba Fett to show up because he's the Mandalorian of Star Wars, aside from obviously Din Djarin. But, and so I think it would make sense for him to show up. But what's more important to me than him showing up is all of everyone being paid the right credence in their role and it being good. If it's good, I'll enjoy it. I don't give a shit. But yeah.
I don't know. This is my thing. It's like, everyone, I think Boba Fett is just like Maul. It's like everyone was like, Maul, he could come back. And when he came back, everyone's like, that is awesome. He's back and it's Darth Maul and we get to see him actually go do cool things.
Yeah.
Because like
he's badass.
He's badass.
Right. It is super similar to Boba Fett.
Like think about Boba Fett. Like episode 5, he's all, oh cool. Episode 6, he's all dies. Most famed bounty hunter.
Bother to let him have his own scream.
Yeah,
they gave him the fucking.
He was just.
He straight up got killed in the stupidest way.
That's what I'm saying.
A blind man.
Yeah.
Just ocean.
Yeah. And he goes, it dies, and that's the most beautiful thing.
In Clone Wars, they made Boba as a kid look so
that's
cool.
So
that's the thing.
It's Boba, and even in Attack of the Clones, seeing him as like the son of the most famed bounty hunter in the entire galaxy.
So it would suck if that was his death scene.
Yeah,
it would suck
of course.
If that
and
was
so,
his
and they already, he's alive,
and this would make sense.
Everyone knows he's alive
yeah.
because the book in Aftermath, they talk about, they straight up are like, this guy has a set of Mandalorian armor that is like acid, like washed and scarred, and so I'm like, where else? Except for in the belly of this beast, this acid-devouring beast.
Why else would they be talking about
nobody's going to show
Here's
up.
my question. If Boba Fett were to come back, would he be an antagonist or a protagonist?
So, I would honestly, what would be most satisfying to me is to see a conflict between Mando and him of like maybe Boba gets a bounty on the child,
I
right?
think that's the obvious.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I'm like,
That's
be great.
reality. That's
That'd be
Star Wars
awesome.
And it is
reality.
interesting because like Boba Fett is not really a Mandalorian, and so it's like
He's a bounty hunter. You know,
well,
like,
and
he's
he's
straight
like
out.
He wears the armor.
he's not even.
Yeah.
But this is the thing is
Is
like
it Beskar that he wears?
I don't think so.
Okay, he's just
'Cause
like,
he just-
oh, I love
maybe,
these.
right,
I love
maybe,
these 3D
but I think-
printed.
I'd have to check.
The reason
but-
it would be significant is because that would also play into like the like
Where did you get
do
that?
my creed fucking disrespect
Yeah.
because you're wearing this armor and you're
Exactly.
just some
So like,
bounty
that's my
hunter.
bitch. Why
You
would
know,
you touch my bitch?
I think it
Exactly.
is interesting because
He's Beskar?
Yeah.
Wow.
they don't go into like how Boba Fett, like he's a Fett, and I think the real thing is like he is more of a bounty hunter than he is a Mandalorian.
For
Or
sure.
the Mandalorian is more
Yeah.
of a Mandalorian than he is a bounty hunter. You know?
Definitely.
And so I'd say I don't know. It sucks because I honestly don't really want him to come back because I think it's like you got to save room. You can't do Boba Fett, Rex, and Ahsoka, and Bo, and Sabine.
all of them.
Like
Yeah.
you got to chill.
Yeah.
Like I think Boba Fett is the most
Unless
expensive.
they're gonna
one.
reveal. Actually,
Really?
this season
Yeah,
has
because
13
he's like.
episodes.
I just think he's like.
I feel like Boba and Ahsoka are like the two musts.
Nah, I just think Boba Fett is like he's kind of. It would be a thing of they would bring him back because we want them to bring him back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, because I feel like why is
you
this guy
don't
showing
want
up?
I think-
what
You
you
know?
want?
Because where's
Yeah.
he been? What's he been doing?
Yeah.
Now he shows up like Ahsoka's
Yeah.
like a part of this whole deal.
Right.
She's been here. She's
Right.
been doing things. And Boba Fett's just like
I was
chilling.
dead,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
I'm alive.
And I
And,
think-
I'm moving into
I don't
I
know.
think
another.
that what's important is we don't know what season 2 is going to set up. We know what season 1 has set up,
Yeah.
and that's not a lot. You know, we know
For sure.
where he's going and what he has to do. So, and that's why I say like, if they set up the characters properly, I don't give a shit who they introduce or who they don't introduce. You know, I think it would make sense again
Yeah.
for Boba Fett to show up, but it makes just as much sense for Bo-Katan to show up. It makes just as much sense for Ahsoka to show up. You know, and I think that if they took the time to do it right, they could absolutely set up any plot line. It's just that we don't know that yet. We don't know where.
I
they're
just
going.
think what the deal is for me is like if they do introduce that many characters, it will feel like the plot is it'll become like a stepping stone thing of like we got to visit this person, and that's how like Solo was for me.
Yeah.
Like it was just a hopscotch to different things that we know about Han Solo, and like that is very
So-
uncreative. You know, you're like, okay, we get it,
Yeah.
and it doesn't stop. It's constantly hopscotching. I love that movie. I really do love that movie. And so
But
when he
it's
keeps
constant.
going back and forth, just that's what I think it'll feel like, but just with characters of like it'll be too much fan service of like. If I don't want them to sit down at a table and be like, we have to do all these characters. How do we fit them all in?
Right.
I want them to go. This is the Mandalorian story.
Yes.
If they fit in, let's do it.
Yeah.
But if they don't, they don't.
Here's the difference between like Han Solo though.
Yeah.
Like Han Solo has a bunch of connections with like these older characters, right?
For sure.
So if they were gonna like share his story, they had to jump to different characters because we
Kinda.
knew
I
about
think
them and
this is
he
the
has
thing.
stories.
I
it's more
think
of
the
the
characters
feel.
are fun. Like Lando, of course. Like
Yeah.
Lando,
Oh, yeah.
and I think the whole idea is like Lando and him have such a history where it's so cool to see them together and explain.
and it has to happen for
But
his history.
for him to be like, okay, Han Solo,
Yeah.
where does he get his blaster? You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
how,
And I
like
think-
how does he meet Chewbacca?
Yeah, the
Like,
more
it's
significant thing there
everything.
is just that it's like, and you've explained it well in the past. We don't need a Han Solo origin.
Of course.
It's cool to see.
Do you know
but we
whose
don't- we
opinion
don't
that
need
is?
it. Whose?
Ben Shapiro. If you want to be on the podcast,
Ben Shapiro.
come on the
Oh, man,
podcast.
I would love to have Ben Shapiro on the podcast.
Would
That's
that
so
be a-
funny.
would that
I
be
definitely
a shit
seen.
show,
I
or
can't
would
remember
that-
who posted it, but somebody posted a clip of him talking about Solo, and he was all like, "We don't need Solo. Like it's Han
That's
Solo
so funny.
has the most badass introduction.
I love that
in all
so
Star
much.
Wars.
That makes me
He
so
shoots a
happy.
guy and he kills him,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that
But
is
yeah, but
that's
anyways,
true.
I think that more what you're saying is it's the feeling of they're doing those things because it's fan service, as opposed to doing those things to make a good story.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that again, that goes back to what I said, which is that it needs to be set up, and it needs to be set up in a way that it's significant to Mandalorian and to that story. You know?
Yeah.
And that's why I say again, who I care about and whose story I care about right now is Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, right? And kind of the other people, right? I obviously have connections with these characters, but I have connections with them from other series, right? I want to see justice done to these guys, right? I don't need to see Ahsoka show up and be badass and be awesome. I don't need Bo-Katan to show up and be badass and be awesome, or any of them. I think that if none of them showed up, that it was all teased for fucking nothing, it was all rumors, none of it was true, and they just gave us a really good story about Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, I'd be happy with that.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. And I think the biggest thing is, it's kind of like the dilemma that they had with the sequel trilogy of, you have to honor the old legacy characters, but you also have to kind of Indiana Jones them with the new characters.
Right.
Until you go, oh wow, they're actually really cool. You know, like
And that's
Ray,
where
Finn,
Ryan
and
Johnson
Poe.
comes in and he just...
Yeah. Now Ryan Johnson's the guy who just takes the golden idol and starts running. All this, it's just piling down on top of him. My bad. So, anyways, that's what they got to do, because they have introduced these characters. And what's her name? It's Grief, and what's the
Sorrow?
girl's name? No.
Sadness?
Stupid.
Depression.
Grief is Carl Weathers' name.
Grief Karga, Carl Weathers, Pedro Pascal's the Mandalorian.
The lady.
Oh, what's the
Who's
lady?
the lady?
Janine.
No, I don't have her. I was looking at new characters.
Bruh!
Are you
You don't
sure
have
about that?
Janine?
Do you mean Cara Dune?
Yeah, Cara Dune.
Cara
Yeah,
Dune.
so
Oh,
Cara Dune.
Oh, sorry.
Cara Dune is interesting, and definitely, like, I watched it all a couple of weeks ago, back to back, and like they really, because we talked about her being like, she doesn't really fit. Like Carl Weathers fits because he is tied with the Mandalorian since the beginning, and they have like a relationship, of I tried to kill you relationship, and I think the interesting thing is with Cara Dune is she's like, her one thing is like she hates the Empire.
Yeah.
And like whatever I can do to stop the Empire, great. But now it's a thing of, at the end, it's kind of like a moment of, all right, we won this time. And then Carl Weathers says, you know what, this is like a pretty good place to chill. So we're going to chill here. You go off and do whatever you need to do.
Right.
So my thought is that Grief and Cara are going to stay there, and like more people are going to come, or like however it's going to work, or people are going to start coming to this town for whatever reasons. Because like, is he going to stay this like bounty seller giver man? But like, what is he going to do? And or are they going to start fighting?
Yeah.
Or getting rid of
You think
the
it could
final
be like
remnants of the
a
Empire.
B-plot that
Yeah,
follow
and the
those two
thing is,
characters.
that is something where that is like the most open-ended book. They straight up were like, they are just doing something, and you gotta really nail that before you can even think about doing anything else.
Right.
Because these characters, like, it's the Mandalorian, and like we've only spent time with him, like IG-11 who dies, and freaking Queel who dies. King.
Dude.
And
Absolutely.
then we have Grief and Cara, and like those are the two,
Right.
and that's what's left.
I think
and
the thing is, like, there's so much mystery still about the Mandalorian and
Of
Baby
course.
Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, so
especially
it,
Baby
it,
Yoda.
it makes sense. Yeah, especially like Yoda,
Who didn't pull out?
yeah. Oh my god. Yoda,
I like
Wait,
y'all.
which one?
Y'all thinking that it's straight up Yoda and
Yaddle.
Yaddle. That's it. It is beautiful.
That's what
I mean, we haven't been shown any other character. I mean, obviously.
I think
there's-
it would be cool.
Dude,
to,
what if there
to
was a
see-
Baby Yoda planet, bro?
That's what I was just about to
That-
say. It would
there
be,
is
It would be
somewhere.
cool to see the Yoda species and to maybe get some background on their characters. And
Well,
how,
I think
don't think it's necessary,
Yeah.
but it might be.
We
cool.
can really assume this race is rare
Mhm.
and extremely
Force
susceptible to the Force and to
Yeah.
midichlorians. But because the thought that Yaddle and Yoda, the two only Yoda species characters we've seen other than the child,
They're both
are
Jedi
both
and
masters,
Devout too.
are both Jedi
They're
masters.
masters.
Like,
Yeah.
what are the odds?
Yeah.
And so it is definitely something of, if we did see that planet, and I think it's really cool because we have seen, like, through Fallen Order, what is it? I can't remember the name of the race of the people, but it was like the Zepho. No, the Zepho, like the alien beings.
Yeah, those,
you know?
like, the huge statues.
The huge statues of the aliens, and then they talk, and they're pretty much like, we are involved in the Force, but, like, we don't, like, utilize it, and we don't use it.
Where's Zepho? What is
Zepho is the planet with all of the different, like, ancient tombs inside of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the big old orb balls. The
Yeah,
Zelda
for sure.
puzzles.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
those guys are
Yes,
there, and
yes.
they talk about, like, this is, like, they talk about different races that use, like, the Force in a way that's more, like, spiritual and
Right.
less, like,
That's so cool.
like,
Well, less.
using magic powers.
Yeah,
you know?
less combat.
And it reminds me of that. It reminds me of, like, Sharut in Rogue One, of, like, a man who can't use the Force, but believes in it so he can, pretty much, you know,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
That's so cool.
It
We
is
talk
so
about
good.
that. I love that so much, and I think that that's something that this is something that in general I've come to appreciate about sci-fi in reading these new books and stuff, is just the exploration of the universe and the exploration of culture and how people think about certain things, right? And, you know, like, for instance, in Warhammer, it's not just these fucking big-ass 7-foot tall warriors are badass. It's what do people think of them? What role do they play in society, right? And so I think that exploring, like, what does the Force, what do the Jedi, what do all these different things mean to other people on different planets, and exploring those cultures, and like for instance in Master and Apprentice, they explore I forget what the planet is. It might say on the back there, but they're exploring the politics of this planet, and they're exploring how they feel about Jedi and how they have a weird connection with the Jedi because they have one dude on this planet who's their connection to the Jedi. He's kind of an asshole, right? He's not a very good representation of the Jedi. So, in general, what I'm saying is it's cool to see that connection to the universe, and it brings so much more depth to all of it, to show us that and to show the cultural significance to what it means.
Yeah,
you know?
and what I think is cool, bringing it back to the Mandalorian, is I talked about how it's really fascinating to see a character that doesn't know about the Jedi. It doesn't know about the Force and what it means or what it is. And so
sorcerers?
Exactly.
You want me
Like,
to find
it's-
sorcerers?
it's
bro?
really
got-
like magic to them.
Yeah, you
and-
got like a
which
little
is which is so
sorcerer with
cool.
you right now.
But it is
That's kinda
for
crazy,
me.
dog.
I like the idea of how is the Mandalorian going to learn about the Force, and from what perspective, which is the most interesting, is because there's so many different perspectives,
And that's why
and he
it's
can
so
learn
good.
it.
They're thinking Ahsoka because that's
Yeah,
the
of course.
perspective. Yeah.
Ahsoka is like the most educated opinion on the Force from like the culture of the Jedi and
Yeah.
Sith.
How
Like,
about Ezra though?
That's a
kind
great
of
question.
whiny and, you know,
And
he'd
a
be
little
like,
bitch.
the
He's a little
Force,
bitch.
it's kind of cool. I can do stuff.
Yeah,
You
yo,
can
yo,
do like
yo.
cool shit, you know. You can.
Yo, kid. Okay, so do this. Just,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Okay, now fuck
Baby
with
anyways,
Yoda would
the
force choke
tangent,
the
the
fuck
tangent
out of Ezra.
Oh, fuck this shit!
Ezra
Baby Yoda's
is
like,
literally
tonight your ass is gonna die, bitch.
Say goodnight.
Say goodnight, motherfucker.
Ezra's is like Baby Yoda's bitch.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Drew?
anyways,
So-
I think
we
that
went
tangent of the Force in like different perspectives and different cultures is extremely important, because I think a lot of people, like, when you watch the original trilogy and you're watching Luke Skywalker, you're really under the impression that this farm boy from this desert planet goes from literally nothing to learning and training and practicing and becoming a Jedi.
Yeah.
And through his practice, he can become a Jedi. And that was so fascinating, is that everyone was like, one day,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a Jedi.
Right.
And I think the idea is like, everyone gives the midichlorians slack. Is that a word?
Flack.
Flack. Yeah, because it's all like, well, that cancels this idea. But I think it's a trade-off, because I think midichlorians are a good way of explaining why things happen. I think George Lucas is fascinated by the science and by the idea of what the Force actually is, and not just an ignorant opinion of, if you try hard, this is just how it works, and that's how it worked in his head. But I think it is so cool that in Rogue One they introduced the true religious side of, if you do believe and you truly give yourself to the Force and the idea, you can use its power and have no midichlorians or can't be able to move things,
right.
but you can use it through true belief. And that's really cool. And this is my thing, is like, if they expand on that in more of a religious sense in The Mandalorian, I'm on board. But I definitely think if Ahsoka shows up, she will be the one to explain how the Jedi work, explain how the Force works, and take this child to do something.
And I think that is also the merit of sci-fi. Another thing is the idea of going in the future, right? And in this case, it's not really the future, but it's. I'll wrap back. You're going into the future, and I think the coolest sci-fi is sci-fi after the sci-fi shit has been at its peak, right? And that's what Star Wars is, right? Everything, it's sci-fi, but it's all old. It's all old and fucked up, and I think that, especially from the beginning, the idea has been that it's like take say like The Matrix, right? The idea that it starts after all of the machine wars and all of this stuff has happened. So now when we get to see Zion, that's mythic, that's lore, right? That's not like literal, this is what happened. That's like, these are the stories we tell our children, right? And part of the reason why that is so cool is because it's from the perspective of people after this thing being shown to us who are the before this thing, right? And I think that applies even to Star Wars, and specifically it applies
the opposite.
And it applies to the original trilogy. It's the opposite from the perspective that is they're displaying to us this post sci-fi world where they treat this thing as a religion, and so they're going back retroactively in the prequels and saying, here's what it literally is, here's the science behind it, right? And that is sort of the
what it is. It's just the idea of, if the prequels came out first, it would be a thing of, people would just know that, like, this is a scientific deal. And then when you see, first of all, you see Luke Skywalker, you're like, well, he comes from the most powerful Jedi that ever lived. It's like, then he's going to be able to move around, And so, but I think there is something pure about the ignorance of the Force and just thinking about it in a way of,
so cool.
You can, if you try hard enough and if you believe hard enough, no doubt you can just live that second road, which is beautiful. But biggest thing is, interested to see Ahsoka's true opinion on the Force and on what to do with it, especially with the child.
At this point, she's going to be in the final stages or whatever of her. Like, she will know, right? She will kind of be at her stage of, this is how I feel. This is what the fucking Force is to me, right? She's sort of she will be an old Jedi master at this point, kind of.
Yeah, and she'll be a master something, I don't even know.
At least closer to that stage.
And so, idea. But for sure, it's a thing of the Force. It's so weird because it's like, I think the coolest thing is, like, you see the Jedi and you see how they use it, and they get to a point where they can, like, transcend life and stuff. And also the Sith can, but in a different way, Like, they could...
in that stinky way.
They could bring, like, life back, and they could use their power to save life, in some cases.
Turn her against me!
But it's like they're all really, like, doing the same thing, And they all have different ways of doing it, but I do love, like, Qui-Gon's perspective on everything and his idea of what he thinks and why, and it's so cool that he really is the first person to be all, hey, this is how it works.
Good.
Have you finished it?
Yeah.
Then give it to somebody.
That's why it's here.
I'm reading it right now.
I read the like first series of that, like the
original series.
Book series of it.
Back in the day.
In the day.
Yeah, at the library.
No, I love Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's adventures.
So sick.
Okay, to wrap up. How do we wrap up?
It's almost. I don't know if I've wrapped up all my thoughts yet.
Let me think.
I
think the trailer.
Stop.
The trailer. I'm really excited. Definitely fascinated with him with the X-wings. Interested to see how that works and where his allegiances lie, especially after
feel like Rebels kind of foreshadows that though, because in Rebels, like the Mandalorians and the Rebel group, they made like some type of not allegiance, but like a deal.
But I totally and I think the thing is, like, a common enemy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the Imperials destroyed the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
In every sense, and exterminated them. And so they're all, hey, bro.
We're gonna be able to, like, through this, we're gonna be able to see. I think we've already kind of seen, but we after Rebels, we didn't necessarily see what happens to the Mandalorians after that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get.
We just
some
know
type of
that
answers.
something went down.
Like
and it was
some
bad.
shit went down.
And we can assume that it's like they just went around exterminating the Mandalorians, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
why they're hiding in a hole. Like,
exactly. And I think the cool thing is the Mandalorian, because at first when I watched it, I saw him flying next to them. And then when they go down and they're all, I thought they were chasing him.
But they didn't.
You know?
They weren't
but
shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't shooting.
So I was like, I think they're just a squad.
Hey, we're just fucking around, like flying through some clouds and shit.
And
Like maybe Bespin or something. Bespin.
It would be really cool.
Could be Bespin.
It could be
Bespin.
Clouds. Bespin.
How about Bespin?
That's something I did want to talk about though. Is like, what could the planets be? And that's something that Star Wars Theory talked about. The planets at the beginning. Someone suggested that could be
two planets.
Yeah, it could be Titan and its moon.
Titan,
which shows
Titan
up,
is the moon.
Okay, then Titan
Of like
and-
Jupiter.
So indoor.
No. It's
Titan.
I forget what they were saying. It showed up in. It will.
Titan is a race on Destiny.
Shut the fuck.
No,
Titan
it's
is the
not.
planet.
It's a class.
Thanos crossover? What the hell?
Titan.
I'm pretty sure it was Titan. I'm pretty sure.
Titan, like from Megamind.
I know that Titan has other fucking names, but anyways, it doesn't.
Some planet,
matter.
but definitely Tatooine, unless the same people like went to another desert planet and brought the Banthas with them.
No, we really like sand.
We're like,
we like into
anybody
that.
else got sand? We're heading over.
We're trying to make a playground.
Yeah, but
As big as
it'll be
the
great.
planet.
I think whatever they do, I'm freaking excited. And the last thing, that scene when he's down and they're having the boxing match and he's talking to the one-eyed Cyclops dude. I'm 90% sure it's Jon Favreau who's doing the voice of that guy.
I'll have to listen back.
Yeah, for sure. Listen to it again.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure
That'll
that's
be
Jon
cool.
Favreau. Because he's all... I don't even remember what he says.
He was like,
it is
I
such
wanna-
a
wherever
good
he goes,
scene.
He's like,
wherever
I
he
want to
goes,
be in
you
this
do.
just
Yeah.
so I can
So
die. I mean, we don't know if he dies, but
Zabrak dies.
He dies. Bro.
Yeah, he's all... Ouch. But
yo, dude, that was
it's classic.
that was a stinky
It is.
moment for that motherfucker. Dude, he got the dude. Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah. Just about.
Yeah.
No, I
It'll be
felt
great.
that.
It'll
I don't
be
know
great.
what
Get a
else.
shot at the doctor's office.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think
I
that's a good
feel
place.
Yeah,
I'm
We're-
so excited.
No.
We didn't even talk about the trailer much, but we talked about what we think will happen, which is more important.
I do think
I mean,
the trailer is a little bit short. Just when it gets to the end, I think I'm glad to get content, but yeah, when it got to the end and it got to Baby Yoda doing the thing, I was like, this is sick as fuck. Then the Zabrak died, and I was like, oh,
It's a
I was-
teaser.
I was expecting, yeah, it's a teaser, but when it said trailer, I was expecting.
Yeah,
more.
I
okay.
think I
That-
think
that
it's
teaser at me edging.
it's for sure. But the
Really?
thing that is different is like it's coming out next month.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
that's
is
the thing, is,
it's
like,
cutting
we are not
close,
waiting.
You know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like it's
very
not like
How many
how
more
Star
trailers do you
Wars
think there'll
movies
be?
work.
Maybe one.
I'll say I don't know because it's weird with Star Wars because sometimes like Rogue One is my example. I remember when Rogue One was coming out, I didn't even I forgot it was coming out. Like I was so busy, and then all of a sudden I was like, it's in like a month, you know.
Yeah.
And everything started dropping, like trailers started dropping, and they had like, you know what they do is they do like different snippets of like. For Sunday Night Football and for everything, they have different little
TV
snippets,
spots.
different
Yeah.
edited ways, and so they might do that, or they might just drop another trailer.
I think that they will probably. I think they'll definitely do TV spots. I would bet
I agree.
we're gonna get like 2, maybe 3 more trailers.
Yeah,
like,
I bet on
like 2
2
more trailers
trailers.
and a release trailer, and then we're gonna get a bunch of TV spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
We're gonna feel it every single time. We're gonna be like,
yeah,
It'll
we're
be
gonna be like, I'm in love with this
yeah.
because I am.
I can't
But
wait to get my hands on
I,
that show.
I think for sure it'll
That was
be here before we
disgusting.
know it, and
That was gross. I'm
it'll
sorry.
be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to
so
do.
excited.
I'm hoping to do a sit in Aiden's basement, watch it, then just discuss about it after the
Do
Yeah.
you want to talk about
call in.
the costumes that we're gonna do?
Oh yeah, so we decided we wanted.
We're doing a little bit of a challenge.
I wanted to make a costume, but I wanted to do it for cheap and to show people that like we, especially us, we will make a costume straight up out of nothing. Story time.
I've made a costume with your money.
Story time. We've made a costume with Keegan's money. But we went to Party City because I was trying to get a wig to be Hermione for the second
Deathly
Fantastic
Hallows.
Beasts. That's what it was.
okay.
But
It was terrible. But we went to this place and I found a wig on the ground with no wrapping. It was just laying there like a dead animal. And I picked it up. I was like, this is my chance. How much money do we have? $10?
we struggled.
It was like I think we had $15.
Yeah.
The wig was like $45.
Yeah, it was
And
ridiculous.
I was sitting there like it was on the floor. It wasn't even packaged. How
Yeah.
much is it? She's like, I could do 50% off. And we're like,
Yeah.
we don't have that. So finally, the
We're
lady just looks
struggling.
over and she goes, how much money do you have? I'm like, I think we got like $18 between all of us. And she's like, okay, fine, get out of the
Yeah.
store.
That's so funny.
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about. So we decided for the release of season 2, we all have a budget of $30,
Which I don't have yet.
Holy shit.
and we are going to make.
I'll give
The
you guys
best-
more money. Like,
No, it's a
sorry.
challenge.
It's a
It's a
challenge.
challenge.
Fun to-
I'm like, oh my
Jeez,
God.
but
Um,
also you know.
I mean, yeah,
come on,
don't
give
be
me
like
the $30.
But we
Sponsored
we
by
all get
Davis
$30, and we're making our some Mandalorian costumes just to show you.
Yeah.
Even if they don't look great, just to show you can make things.
all right, I'm
without
gonna
a lot of
spend
money.
$500 and I'll walk in next to
You'll
you
be-
guys.
That's what we
You'll be
talked
there.
about last time.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about last time.
But yeah, and I don't know that we've decided like our costumes definitively yet.
Yeah.
But I think I have a pretty good idea.
I think I think you're doing Bill Burr.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
And I am doing Mandalorian,
No.
and Yoda is doing.
Yoda is doing
Aiden is doing
There's a
the
lot
child.
of costumes I want to shake my
Yeah.
head for, bro.
You should.
There's because like that was I was talking to Shannon about this last night. Is that like I was brainstorming because I was saying that for the Rex cosplay, which is another thing that we wanted to do, that I would crew cut or military buzz cut,
Yeah.
and I would dye my hair blonde 100% to commit to that costume. And so
Great.
then I was like, well, shit, if I'm shaving my head, do 11.
Might as well.
And then I was like, bro, Maul. I could do Darth
All
Maul.
would be sick.
Wait,
That would be so sick. So
Shout out to Ray Park.
Ray Park. If
you
you
wanna
want to come on the podcast, Ray.
He totally would.
Oh, that would
I'm
be
gonna hit him up
that
after
would
this.
be super cool.
He's a G.
That would
We
be
talk
so
all the
cool.
time, bro. Me and Ray. I'm all,
Mm.
hey, bro.
Yep.
How's
Oh.
it over in the old Los Angeles? And he's all, Sith life. That's his thing. He always says that after all the
Right.
videos. He's all, Sith life.
Yeah.
He does a backflip.
Man.
Respect.
okay.
So sick, dude.
Okay.
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 That's it.
wrap it
That's
up.
all we
That's all
have.
we got.
Do we want to play out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
this has been the Guy Excellent Podcast. Go check out. Go check out Mandalorian Season 2 trailer.
Yeah. Should we just play
Check
that?
out our other podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can. I think I might overlay a video on that.
Yeah. Check me out too. I'm Davis.
Check out Davis Lowe.
Yeah.
Boiled beans.
Boiled beans. Yeah.
I'll put them in the description and all
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit it.
Or quit it.
Okay.
This isn't hitting it very hard. Hit it.
Then overreact. Overreact.
Yeah! Yeah! Star Wars!
You peed your pants.
Yeah!
You peed his pants. You peed. Max peed.
Okay, we step podcast.